All right. So after the last video, we made it to this point. We split this up into two separate equations, and now we are solving the second part, and then we're going to graph both of those. Okay, so we're going to solve 5x minus 7 is less than 18. So just like before, I'm going to add 7 to both sides because the opposite of a negative 7 would be a positive 7. So I'm going to add 7 to both sides. Okay, so negative 7 plus 7 cancels out. I'm left with 5x is less than, and 18 plus 7 would be 25. Okay, this 5 is attached to my x, so I know that is multiplying my x. In order to get rid of that 5, in order to move it to the other side of the inequality sign, I know I need to do the opposite, and the opposite of multiplication would be division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. That cancels out. I'm left with x is less than 5. 25 divided by 5 is 5. So I have x is greater than negative 4 and x is less than 5. So I'm going to graph both of those. With my blue pen, I'm going to go above negative 4. And I know it's going to be an open dot because it doesn't have the equal sign underneath it. So I'm going to go to negative 4, an open dot, and I know that my arrow is going to point this way. Okay. Next, I want to go to 5. I want to do another open dot at 5. And my arrow is going to go the other way. And that is because it is a less than. So anytime there is a less than, my arrows should meet in the middle just like that. Okay. That is the graph for this equation. So as you guys can see, I split it into two separate equations and then I solved them. Okay. All right. So for example 2, we have two separate equations. It's already split up for us. It's a gray tor, okay, not a less than, it's a gray tor. So we're just going to solve and graph these, okay? So we have 3x plus 1 is less than or equal to negative 2. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite that over here so I have a little bit more room. So 3x plus 1 is less than or equal to negative 2. And that just came from right here, okay? So first I want to move that positive 1. I'm going to do that by doing the opposite. It should be a negative 1. So I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. Okay, negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3. 1 minus 1 is 0. So I'm left with 3x is less than or equal to negative 3. Okay, and then I would want to divide both sides by the number that's multiplying my x, which would be that 3. Okay, divide both sides by 3. And my answer, these cancel out. So I'm just left with x is less than or equal to negative 3 divided by 3 is negative 1. Okay, so that's the answer to my first equation. My second equation, so this was over here. My second equation I'm going to do over here. Just going to bring it straight down. I have 7x, okay, minus 3 is greater than 18. All right, so same thing as the last one. I'm going to split it up into two sides. I want to move that negative 3 first. Opposite of a negative 3 would be a positive 3. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides. Okay, negative 3 plus 3 would be 0. I'm left with 7x is greater than 18 plus 3 is 21. Okay, 7x is greater than 21. I know this 7 is multiplying my x, so I know in order to move it across my inequality sign, I need to do the opposite, which would be division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 7. Dividing by 7, dividing by 7, these cancel out. I'm left with x is greater than 21 divided by 7 would be 3. Okay, now I'm just going to graph these. So I have x is less than negative 1 and x is greater than 3. So if I was to graph these on the same graph, I'm not really sure why they gave us two graphs. Usually we do these on the same graph, so that's what I'm going to do. First, I'm going to go to negative 1. I'm going to do a closed dot above negative 1. Closed dot above negative 1. That's because there's this equal to sign. And I know my arrow is going to point that way. Okay. Next, I have x is greater than 3, which means I have an open dot above 3. Okay, an open dot above 3 because it does not have my equal sign, and my arrow will point to the right. Okay. So that's what the graphs look like on the same graph. We could have just done them on separate graphs, but on the same graphs, that's what it should look like. Okay, so thank you guys for tuning in. Please stay tuned for the homework help video for worksheet 3.